Welcome back to Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thanks for joining us. Our guest is Ed Reyes. Mr. Reyes is a member of the Los Angeles City Council, and I must say a minor miracle was before us when the council passed on a 15-0 vote a budget in mid-May, and the mayor's on board. About $336 million in cuts were made. Talk to us about those cuts.
Well, they're very serious. For example, the planning department lost 40% of its staff.
I know that's near and dear to your heart because you are a planner.
Well, it's about our environment. It's about how we protect our neighborhoods. It's about how we review the future of the city and dealing with the pressures of a giant metropolis like Los Angeles. So it is very critical.
Let me ask you about the LAPD, because that is the most significant portion of the budget. And we know there was about $120 million in cuts to the LAPD. But interestingly, about $40 million, there was no tally for it. I mean, they're going to be cut $40 million, but we don't know where. And we're looking for concessions from the LAPD. How does that look to you?
Well, we are in a very tough place. We're down to the bone now. So we need to look at creative ways of maintaining our delivery of services, our core services, but we need to get to a place where we can start beginning to generate revenue. So for the police, how they're going to continue to work with the rest of the city family members, because the city doesn't run on police alone.
I want to ask you a question. I'm not sure if you will have the answer, but as you know, the state of California saw a significant bump in revenue, unexpected, about $6 billion. But the city of Los Angeles has not seen that bump. Do you have a sense as to why? Is it how revenue is generated?
Well, if we stay in the traditional mode, it's going to be hard to generate. You know, property taxes, our property values are going down. All the issues and all the elements that predict a healthy budget for a city, all the indicators are now upside down. I mean, we're going sideways. We need to create revenue. We have to look at our city assets, our city properties. We have to have partnerships with the private sector. So it's a different approach.
How do we do that in light of the current that residents want services, but they don't want their taxes increased?
Well, if you look at what we did this year, is we set aside resources to hire folks who understand our assets and look at how you project revenue with our asset base, beginning with the real estate that we own. And how do we start looking at this revenue stream to plug in these holes that were being created.
But we looked at, for example, selling some parking structures as a way to create revenue. That plan went belly up.
Right. I thought that was ill-advised. I think we were putting a lot of hope in something that we really didn't know much about. We learned our lesson. We need to bring in the expertise to tell us and give us the reality checks. This makes sense and this doesn't.
Let me shift gears, if I may, and talk to you about one of my favorite topics, and that's the Los Angeles River. We have worked together on some projects relating to the river, and in the last decade, money was flowing in nicely to revitalize the Los Angeles River. Money is tight, but yet you still are a force for moving projects forward.
Absolutely. We are looking at this from a short-term and long-term. On the short-term, we're starting a dry season, non-motorized boating, kayaking.
That should be fun.
It'll be fun because people see a part of the city they've never seen before, and it's right in their own backyard. Second, we're looking at all the different pocket parks we've built, and rezoning areas with consensus building, local neighbor stakeholders, that will redefine how we establish a riverfront district.
In our final moments, have we seen any steelhead trout in the river yet? I know that is really like the marker.
That would be one of the major indicators. And I think, put it this way, if we keep going at this pace,
we will.
By the time you and I are in our golden ages, we'll be there.
Ed Reyes, thanks for joining us. I'm
Brad
Brad Pomerance, back to HLA.